Editing premium motion graphics like this does not have to be difficult, so let me show you how to get it done in DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so we're starting with a blank canvas, and the first thing we're going to do is to bring a grid node. Now, when you connect the grid node to Media Out 1, you're not going to see anything right away. What we need to do is to bring a background node and then connect it to the grid node. Now, let's go ahead and change the row cell setting here to 25 and the column cells to 38, and then change major line spacing to 0. Now, the last thing I'm going to do here is to change the color of the line to something that's more subdued. This will just work better for the overall effect. Now, to make this effect a bit more dramatic, we are going to just bring in a Vignette node. Now, we're going to change the operating mode from basic to advanced. We're going to change the border shape here to rectangle instead of oval. Just bring up the size a little bit there and then bring down the softness. And then I'm going to move this vignette down a little bit towards the bottom. The reason is because this is going to be the floor of the background composition. So I want a little bit more darkness at the top. And then we're going to simply copy and paste this vignette node. And then we're going to connect the grid node to this new vignette node and then connect this vignette back to the other one as a foreground. Now for this new one, for the second one, I'm going to leave all the setting the same, except that I'm going to start to bring this up a bit towards the top because this is going to be the wall of our background composition. So I want a little bit more darkness at the bottom. So now let's go ahead and add a DVE node right after the first vignette node. Now the DVE node is going to allow us to move this thing around as if there's a camera panning left and right, up and down. It's going to look really nice. So let me show you how. Let's go ahead and change the pivot Y setting to 1. And then I'm going to start to move the rotation X setting there. And you're going to see that when we start doing that, the whole thing is going to move anchored to the top. So this is going to look really nice. Along with the center setting there, if we move this up and down, you're going to see that these two together will allow us to create a nice panning motion. So let's go ahead and set a keyframe right here in the video for these two settings, center and rotation X. And then I'm actually going to set these back to their default setting for now. And let's move over about 1.5 seconds. And then let's set another keyframe for these two settings. But I'm going to move, first of all, move it down towards the middle there, and then move it a little bit over to the right. And then let's bring down the rotation X setting there. And you're going to see that right now there's going to be a nice panning motion just by changing these two settings. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is to bring up the spline editor, and we're going to select these two settings, and then we're going to make this even better. So let's select all the keyframes, and then we're going to hit the F key, bring up the ease in, ease out option here, just to change the easing all the way up to 100. So now you're going to see that this is going to look really smooth and professional looking. Okay, all right, at this point, it looks really good. And the next thing we're going to do here is to just bring another DVE node, but for the wall. So let's just do that. We're going to save ourselves a little bit of effort by linking it to the other one. And we're going to do that by creating expression. So let's come up to the center setting, right click and select expression. And then for the X here, let's just type in DVE1, which is the name of the other node. And then we're going to type in center X. And we're going to do the same for the Y setting, but we're going to add 1 to the Y, because this is the wall, so we want this to be sitting right on top of the other one. All right, now we're also going to create an expression for the Z move setting here. We don't necessarily need to use this right now, but it's going to come in handy later on. So I'm just going to write expression right now, and you're gonna see that at this point, the background is pretty much done, and the wall and floor are moving in perfect sync with one another. Now, one other thing you can do here is to also rotate the wall as well. And when we do that, however, you're going to notice that there's now going to be a gap between the wall and the floor. So the reason why this is happening is because of our pivot point. So what we need to do is to change the pivot point for the pivot Y setting there from 0.5 to 0. So when we do that, you're going to notice that when we start to change the rotation X setting there, now there's no gap between the wall and the floor. So if this is something you desire to do, you can do it now without any issue. But to be honest, the way it's looking right now is pretty good. All right, so now our background is done. We're gonna go ahead and create our numbers. So let's bring a text node and then connect it to the first vignette node there as a foreground. So we're gonna come to the text box there and then start to write our numbers 1, 2, 3 with a gap in between each. Let's bring up the size there a little bit, and then we're gonna just place it on the left-hand side as a starting point. And then we are going to just right click, and in the menu select character level styling. And then we're gonna go to the modifiers tab there. We're gonna select number 2 first, and then I come to the transform tab there, and then just move it over to the middle and then towards the top. And then we're going to select number 3 and then move it towards the right hand side and then down a little bit. So now we're going to go ahead and create a mask for each one. And we're going to do that by using the multi-poly node. So let's go ahead and create a mask for number 1 first. All right, so now once that is done, we're going to just to bring up the soft edge setting there, just a touch. This is just going to make it look really nice later on when we animate. And then what we're gonna do, and this is the beauty of multi-poly node, is that we're gonna create a duplicate. Right click, select duplicate in the menu, and then we're just gonna move this one over our number 2 here. And then we're gonna just do this one more time by right click, and then in the menu select duplicate, and then move this duplicate now over our number 3. And then we're gonna connect the multi-poly node to the text node. And now let's come over to the transform tab. And we're gonna change the transform to line. So now when we just bring down the offset setting, you're gonna see that this is going to look really nice when we start to animate it. And we're gonna set a keyframe for the offset setting here. And then we're gonna move it down, move them out of screen. And then we're gonna move over about 1.5 seconds. And then we're gonna just bring them back up to their original position. And then we're gonna bring up the spline editor, select both settings. And then we're gonna hit the F key and bring the easing setting all the way up to 100. So now you guys will see that it's going to look really clean, really smooth, and very professional. And you're gonna see that because of the changes that we made to the soft edge settings, this is going to make it look even better. All right, now let's go ahead and create our line animation by bringing a S text node and also a S render node for our shape animation. Now let's connect the S render node back to the text node as a foreground. Now, the cool thing about the X text node is that if you come over to the layout tab, under the type setting there, you can change it from point to path. So the path is a unique feature that allows you to create any path that you want on the screen. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw out a path along these 3 numbers here. And then I'm gonna change it to modify only. And then select all these points and then change them to smooth. This is very important. And then we're gonna come back to the text box here and then just typing 5 dashes. And then let's go ahead and copy these 5 dashes and then start pasting them however many times you want until it starts to form a nice line. And then we're gonna just bring up the tracking setting there a bit to create some extra space in between each dash. And then let's come over to the transform tab. Under size, let's start to bring down the white setting just to make them a little bit skinnier. And then we are going to go back to the text tab. Let's start to set a keyframe for the right on setting. Just bring it all the way down to 0. And then let's move over about 1.5 seconds and then just bring right on all the way up to 1. So now you're gonna see that this line path animation is gonna happen in sync with our number animation. Okay, so now let's come over to the shading tab. Let's go to element 3, which is black shadow. Let's enable it. Now I'm gonna change first of all the color to white so that you guys can see what's happening. And let's come to the softness X setting, right click, select expression. Let's connect it to the white setting. Start to just bring up the softness here. And this is going to make it look really nice. And then we're gonna just move it right underneath these numbers. And then let's change the color back to black. And yeah, you guys can see that this will just add some nice dimension to it. But right now, because the number look like they sit right on top of the line here, there's no separation, so you don't really get that. So we are going to create a little bit of a separation here. Let's go ahead and bring a ellipse masking node. We're gonna connect it to the merge 3 node there. And we're just gonna go ahead and create a nice small mask around our number 2 here. And then we're just gonna bring up the soft edge a little bit there. And then let's copy and paste this. And then we're gonna just move this over our number 3. And then we're gonna change the paint mode to invert. And then let's also click on invert setting there as well. So guys, now that you can see that there is a bit of a separation, at least visually, that separation is there for our numbers 2 and 3, and also the line that's underneath it. So this is going to just make this effect even better. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do here is to create some nice panning motion for our animation. Now we're gonna come to the first DVE node here. We're gonna set a keyframe for the center setting and also the Z move setting here. And then we're gonna move over about 1 second, and then we're gonna set another pair of keyframes for these 2 settings. And then this time around, we're going to just move this animation over to the middle here for our number 2, and then just bring the Z setting down a little bit. So it's looking like the camera is kind of zooming in. Then we're gonna hit a short break and then come over and then set another set of keyframes for center and Z move, and then start to bring this over to the right hand side where the number 3 is. And then we're gonna bring the Z move up, so it's gonna look like the camera is kind of zooming out this time. So this set of sequence, when you look at it in its totality, it's gonna look like there is a camera kind of panning from the left to the right. So this is going to just give it that impression that there is a camera, but there really isn't. And this is going to look even better if we bring up the spline editor and then start to adjust the ease in, ease out. So let's first of all make sure that the X rotation is not selected. And then let's select these set of keyframes right here. And then we're gonna hit the F key. Make sure the easing is set to 100, and then we're gonna do the same thing by selecting these keyframes here as well. Hit the F key, making sure that the easing is set to 100. So now if we review this entire sequence, you're gonna see that it's going to kind of pan down, and then from the left to the right, the whole motion is very smooth and also very professional looking. And the good news is that this is the bulk of the animation. We're almost there. All right, so now let's bring this to the finish line by creating our text animation. So let's connect our text node to the second vignette node there as a foreground. Now in the text box, let's write our texts, and you're not gonna see the text, however, right away. Is because it's actually connected to the wall. So what we need to do is to come over to the transform tab there and adjust the offset setting. So let's start to bring the text right on top of these numbers. Now, one thing though I want to point out here is that where you see this text is actually not where they are. So where the texts are actually at the bottom where you see these green outlines. So this is very important to know. Now let's just make sure that we adjust the size as well as the precision so that it's looking like the text is kind of sitting right on top of our numbers. And then let's come over to the text box. Let's right click and then select the character level styling. Let's go over to the modifiers tab and select our word motion there, and we are going to move it kind of right on top of number 2. But this is where it's important to understand that we're actually selecting these green outlines. And then let's select our last word there, graphics. We move it right over number 3. And then we're going to bring in a multi-poly node. We're going to start to create a mask for each individual text. Now, the key here, as you can see, is that it's almost look like I'm creating a mask for an invisible word, but I swear I'm not. I'm just doing right now for the word premium. But you know, this is where that green outline is, so this is important. So now I connect it to the text node. You're going to see that only the word premium is there and the other 2 words are gone for the time being. And then I'm going to just start to bring this up a bit so that you can see that it's actually now cutting out the bottom part of the word. So we know this is working. And now let's go ahead and just create a duplicate by right clicking it, selecting duplicate. This one, we're going to move it over the word motion. And again, I think this is perfect. And the last part here, we're just going to create one more duplicate and move it over the word graphics. And again, this is important to know where to create the mask, right? Where to position the mask. So now you're going to see that we have 3 words here for each number. Now let's animate it by coming over to the modifiers tab, go to the text box here, right click, and then select follower. And then we are going to change the delay setting to 3 frames for now. And then we're going to go over to the transform tab and then change transform to words. And then now we're going to set a keyframe for the offset setting. So you guys will see that now what we're going to do is to start to bring these words out of frame. And then we are going to just move over about 20 frames and then just bring them back up to 0. So now you guys will see that first of all, we have the word premium, and then the word motion is going to show up right after. And then we're going to have the word graphics showing up lastly. Again, this is also synchronized with the panning motion as well. So it's working perfectly with the animation that we have. So yeah, you guys, this is mostly it, right? These are the key components. This text animation is really the icing on the cake to kind of just wrap up this entire animation. And the last thing we're going to do here is to just bring a background node to kind of fill out all the empty space that you see right now on the screen. So we're going to make sure that we leave it at black and then connect to this whole effect as a background node. And this is pretty much it, you guys. Yeah, this is a high-end premium motion graphic that you can create in DaVinci Resolve just by following this workflow. And there are so many things you can do, right? You're not limited to what I'm showing here, but this is the workflow that you can use right now, today, to create this. All right, you guys, I hope this helps. And as always, I will see you next time.